I'm one of the recreation therapy interns. Welcome to my virtual program, DIY Activities. So DIY stands for do it yourself. And for this particular program today, we're going to be learning how to DIY our own game. If you've ever played skee ball, cornhole, or beanbag toss, it's pretty much the same concept, except I'm just showing you how you can make it at home. Are you stuck inside or you want to go outside but you don't know what to do other than a walk? Then this game is perfect for you. While we are shelter in place and social distancing, we can still create activities that we can play with others while being a healthy distance. So like I said, I'm going to be teaching you how to make it, and I'm going to show you all the different materials that you can use to make this activity. Of course, some of us may not have some of these supplies, but that's okay because I will talk about different alternatives that you can use or find in your homes if you can, so that you can still make this activity and have a game to play.
Okay, let's talk about the tools you're going to need for this DIY. First, you're going to need a pair of scissors. I choose to use big scissors because that's what I'm most comfortable using. Next, you're going to need at least 4 different color markers. For this tutorial, I'm using red, purple, green, and blue, but you can use any 4 that you would like. Next, you're going to need 1 clean sock. You can use a big sock or a small sock. I used a big fluffy sock because it was going to hold the object that I'm going to be putting in it, but it's really up to your preference. Next, you're going to need at least 16 paper plates. This will be used for what we toss our makeshift beanbag on. Then you're going to need a piece of paper, and this is what you're going to use to write your score sheet on. Then, of course, you're going to need a pencil so you can write with. And again, I'm going to show you how to do a score sheet later on. So the next thing you're going to need is a heavyweight object. In this tutorial, I chose to use these wooden flower things that I found at Dollar Tree that I had bought a long time ago, but you really want something heavy. You can use a bag of rice, you can use a bag of trail mix, just anything heavy and flat that when you throw the makeshift beanbag, it will land somewhere on our board. Okay, step 1. You're going to select a color of your choice. I selected the blue marker. You're going to take one of your paper plates, flip it around to the back, and draw a circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, it just has to be a circle. Then we're going to do our numbers, which is our points for this game. We're going to have 10, 20, 50, and 100. So we're going to start off with 10 points. You're going to do that in the blue color, as you can see that I'm doing here. Next, you're going to take a second color, I chose green, and do the same thing. Draw a circle on the back of your paper plate and write the number 10 once again. You're going to be repeating this step 2 more times in the 2 colors that you chose. For me, that's going to be red and purple. So as you can see, I'm laying out the different colors, but of the same number, right? Because these are 10 points. Next, you're going to take a pair of scissors and you're going to find the rim of the paper plate, as I show you, and you're going to cut it out so that it looks like this. You want it to be small. So we're going to take our scissors, we're going to make a slight indent into the paper plate, as I show you, and you're going to follow the line of the rim, and you're just going to cut all the way around so that it reaches the end and looks like the paper plate that I had shown you in the beginning. So you're just going to take this time to watch me or follow along at home to the best of your abilities. And this doesn't have to be perfect either. As long as you cut off the excess rim, you are good to go.
I also wanted to say that at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that I will be discussing alternative materials that you all could use if you don't have the materials that I'm showing here in this video. And I'm going to show this clip right here, the alternatives that you can use. If you don't have paper plates, then you can use a piece of paper and trace a circle, which again, I'm going to show you so that you all can see what I'm talking about. Here, just write the number. And you can go over this with a marker of your choice. So there you go. And then what you can do with this, the same thing you would do with the paper plate, is grab your scissors, take your paper, and you can cut it in a circle. And there you go. That's your circle. So it's the same concept if you were to use your stick. There you go. The same thing. So another alternative that if you do have the paper plates or if you do have the previously cut out circle that we had just made, if you don't have markers, if you don't have crayons, you can use paint. So how I'm going to show you this is the example that we made. This is the other number, remember, that we had cut out. So we have a paintbrush. This is optional also if you want to get creative. Sorry, my hand. You don't have to do this, but it is optional to spice it up a little bit. I did this personally so that in this video you are able to see the outline of the numbers and the colors, because the purpose is that you are able to see both the number and color from far away when you're playing this game. So what I'm going to do is bring in my paint. I have a little bit of red here in the paintbrush, as I showed you. I'm going to dip it into the plate, and then you're just going to outline. So it doesn't have to be perfect, as I've been saying. You're just going to outline this circle all the way around, and the number as well, so that you can get a clear indication that this is a 50. Okay, and you're going to do this for all of your 16 paper plates or 16 pieces of paper. Okay, so if you were to do this on a piece of paper, you would just take it, outline it, and then maybe just follow the direction of this right here. Okay. And there you go. Okay. So this is how we're going to make the bean bag. So it can be, again, any flat, semi-heavy object. In the beginning, I showed you my materials were these wooden flower things and a sock. So we just need something that we're able to throw that's going to land in our paper plate. So you're going to open up your clean sock, take your small but flat and semi-heavy object, put it at the bottom of the sock, fold it once. If it's a long sock, fold it twice and take the other flap, open it up, and you're going to reverse that. So it's a nice little chunk. So when you throw it, theoretically, or it should land. There you go.
So if you don't have an object to put inside the sock like I do, you can use other objects such as a canvas that you're no longer using, anything heavy and flat. Mine, I just used the canvas of a flower I drew. You can also use a puzzle box that you may not be doing right now. It's small and it's heavy with all the puzzle pieces, so when you throw it like I just demonstrated, it'll fall flat onto the paper plate. So those are a few options. Next thing I'm going to show you all is how to make your score sheet. So now that we've had our game all figured out, we're going to create our score sheet so that we can keep track and calculate all of the numbers up at the end of the game. So I'm just going to write the word score sheet at the top. Okay, and you can play with as many players as you want, but we're going to pretend that there's 2 players. So P stands for player, and then there's a 1 here, so that's player 1, and then P2 is player 2. You're going to draw a line straight across to separate P1 and P2, and you're going to draw a vertical line to separate the boxes. At the top right here, you're going to write 1 all the way till 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm only doing to 10 because that's as many rounds as I want to go for the game, but you can go as many as you want. But it will be a lot of calculations if you go past 10. So then I'm going to draw more vertical lines so that I can separate each number and so that every player has their own box. So it doesn't have to be perfect, like I've been saying this whole video, but just something. You want to write the word total for both players at the end. And I'm going to show you how to use this in just a little bit. So in this frame, I'm showing you how you can set up your game with the paper plates that we made. So there's various ways that you can set up your paper plates. I'm going to be showing you a few ways. And the first method that we're doing is just simply setting up the paper plates randomly in a 4x4 grid. So you'll have 4 paper plates going vertically and then 4 paper plates going horizontally, and you're going to fill in until you get all 16 plates onto the ground. And you'll see in the video that I demonstrate this by putting the paper plates down in rows. It can be random. You can put them by number order, which again, I'll show you in the next few clips. But this is just one of the ways that you can set up your grid. Okay, so now that we have rearranged all of the 16 plates for method 1, as I demonstrated in the previous frame, I'm going to speak about how you play the game. So just like beanbag toss, you take your beanbag and you toss it. However, in this case, we're going to be choosing a number and a color, and we're going to be tossing the beanbag onto that plate that we just verbalized. For those of us who cannot see or who may have color blindness, you can point. So what you do is the same concept, you just say the number and you point. So in my case, I'm going to reach for the 100 blue. I also pointed to the 100 blue and I tossed. Unfortunately, I didn't make it, but that's okay. So we'll just put a 0 on the score sheet. Okay, so this is another way that you can rearrange your numbers. I did it based off of colors in the order from least value to the greatest value, still in a 4x4 grid. So it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to say a number, say the color, and toss my beanbag. So I want to aim for the 20 purple. I'm going to point to the 20 purple. I'm going to do an underhand toss, okay? Just lightly. Did it land? It pretty much landed. Majority of the beanbag is on the plate. So we're going to come to my score sheet for part 2. So now my player 2 is going to take his turn to throw the beanbag. So what's your number?
50 red.
50 red. Go ahead. Okay, so for method 3, if you want to increase your challenge, for the game, you can spread out your 16 plates, kind of like how mine are, and use that to help make it a little bit more difficult. So when I threw, I pointed to the plate, and because it is a little bit more spread out, it could help to increase the challenge. So I'll write that down on my score sheet, and then I'll come back and I will try again. If you have a bigger space if you do this outside or just a larger environment, you can separate the plates even further. Unfortunately, I didn't have too big of a space where we could play this game and that I can demonstrate for you all, but you kind of get the idea.
So I switched to using pen. It really depends on the materials that you have at home, but you can use marker, pen, pencil, whatever you can read, you and your opponent. So we're gonna do the calculations now for player 1 first. So the first time they threw, they had 100 points. The second time they threw 20. The third time they threw 100. The fourth time they threw 0. The fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth time are all zeros. The ninth time that they threw, they got 10 points. And then the 10th time they threw was 100 points. So if we add all of these up, 100 plus 20 is 120. 120 plus another 100 is 220. All these zeros, we know that don't equal anything, so we're still at 220. Plus 10 is 230, and then plus 100 is 330. So the total for player 1 was 330 points. Okay? So now we'll look at player 2. So the first try they had 0, second try they had 0, third try they got 100, fourth try 0, fifth try 100, sixth try 0, seventh try 0, eighth try 100, ninth try 50, and the 10th try 100. So if we add 100 plus 100, we know that that's 200. And then plus another 100, that's 300. So we have 100 plus 100 plus 100. Check mark those off. We know that that equals 300. Then we check mark off 50. So we know that they have 350. And then another 100. We know that they got 450. So in total, player 2 got 450. So player 2 is crowned the winner. Thank you all for tuning in today for virtual programming for DIY beanbag toss. I hope that the game came out the way that you wanted. If not, that's okay, because that's the beauty of DIYs. You make it your own. And it's okay if you didn't make it entirely the same that I made it. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, DIYs are meant to be creative and to be unique and personal to you. So as long as you got the general concept of the game and you were still able to play, that's all that matters. I hope that you enjoyed today's program. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't hesitate to contact me. And I hope to see you next time in my next DIY activity video.